Hey everyone, this is Matt here, and this is part 2 of the 2013 draft analysis. I'm doing this right after part 1. I'm not going to wait till it's uploaded or anything, so I can't read feedback or anything, so just keep that in mind when this video is being done. But I'll pick right back up where I left off, and we are at number 16 in the draft, I believe, with the Buffalo Sabres. With their second pick in the draft, they took Nikita Zadorov from London in the OHL, defenseman, big defenseman. This was the guy I was kind of hoping Philadelphia would take at number 11, but I guess it's a good thing they didn't since he dropped quite a bit. He seemed like a solid player to me, even though he dropped a bit farther than people thought he would get taken at. He's a big defenseman. He was voted by scouts the hardest hitting defenseman in the draft, so that's always a positive. He was on a really good team. You have to keep that into consideration, but I think this was a really good pick for Buffalo at 16. They got two really good defensemen out of the draft, and yeah, I think it was just a pretty good pick overall. Number 17, the Ottawa Senators took Curtis Lazar, a center or left wing from Edmonton in the WHL. This was another pretty good pick. They had some other options that they could have taken. They could have taken Hunter Shinkaruk or Anthony Mantha, but Curtis Lazar is an all-around good player. I think it was him we saw fight in the prospects game. I think, I'm not positive, but he's an all-around good player. His interview after, he's a funny guy. He seems like a big personality, like he'd be good in Ottawa, good hockey market kind of guy. So I think that was a good pick. He'll give them some scoring and some depth at the forward position. Number 18 was the San Jose Sharks. They took Mirko Mueller on defense from Everett. I didn't know a lot about this guy coming in the draft. I hadn't really heard of him. But from the highlights and what they said about him, he seems like a steady stay-at-home defenseman. He kind of rised up from the ranks his last year. He wasn't really known until this year. And he developed good on Everett, it looks like, because Ryan Murray, I'm pretty sure, came from Everett. So they must be doing something right with defense over there. But yeah, it seemed like a good pick for the Sharks. Some of their defensemen are getting kind of old, Dan Boyle and everyone else. So they're going to try and rebuild that, I guess, and it seems like a pretty good pick in my opinion. Number 19, the Blue Jackets had another pick, and they took Kirby Reichel from Windsor, like a great goal scorer from this draft, one of the top two probably goal scoring wise. Well, in the OHL, I guess, not in the entire thing. But it was a good pick for the Blue Jackets. They need some scoring, it looks like, with Nash gone, even though they got Gabrick. But this guy put in 40 goals, and he didn't even play a full season, I'm pretty sure. On a Windsor team that wasn't very good, he still got some good points. And I know for sure he got in a fight in the prospect game. I don't know who. Oh, I think he fought Darnell Nurse, actually. I'm not positive, but yeah, he's like a spark plug kind of guy. He's a explosive scorer, and he'll fight, he'll hit. He's just a good player. I think he was a good pick for at that point in the draft. Number 20, the Detroit Red Wings took Anthony Mantha from Val d'Or. I think that's how you say it in the QMJHL. This was probably the best goal scorer, not point getter, but goal scorer in the draft. Detroit's known for getting steals in the draft, so this guy might be one of those people. He dropped, I think, because the scouts were saying he plays kind of soft, even though he's a good goal scorer. But Detroit seems to find a way of developing those guys. I think it was a pretty good pick. Um, yeah, he just seems like a good overall player to have on your team for goal scoring. Obviously, he got 50 goals. He's the only guy in the draft to do that. I was surprised they didn't take a European guy. That's usually where Detroit goes in the draft, but he seems like a good player, especially for number 20. 50 goals, you can never go wrong with that. So moving on, go to the Toronto Maple Leafs. They took Frederick Gauthier, a center from Rimouski. This was who a lot of people thought they were going to take going into the draft. I was a bit surprised they passed on Hunter Shinkaruk when he dropped that far in the draft, but Frederick Gauthier was who they wanted at that point, or like at where they were selecting in the draft, and he fell in their hands, and they got a good two-way center. He's a big guy, and he just seems like a reliable player that'll be in the NHL for a long time and always good to have on your team. Number 22, the Calgary Flames took Emile Poirier. I think that's how you say it, left wing on Gatineau. I don't know how great of a pick this was. I hadn't seen anything from this guy going into the draft. He wasn't ranked as a first round pick on most people's scouting lists. The Flames are saying that he was ranked pretty high on their big board or whatever they rank their players on, and it's weird how the like teams that are usually lower in the standings, like the Flames and Panthers or whatever, they have such different scouting lists than everyone else. If this guy was ranked pretty high in your list, that might not be a good thing, but it might be a good pick. I don't know, not for sure. I didn't watch much of him, but it seemed like not that great of a pick to me. But moving on, we got the Washington Capitals, who took Andrei Burakovsky from Sweden. This was another guy I didn't know a lot about going into the draft. I think I remember him from the World Junior Tournament. He looked pretty good, goal-scoring wingers, but the Capitals are usually good with developing European goal-scoring forwards on their team. You've got, obviously, Ovechkin and Backstrom as a good start. So I think it was a pretty good pick on their part. Um, Moving forward, we have the Vancouver Canucks, excuse me. They got Hunter Shinkaruk, who played to 24 in the draft. A lot of people thought he would go at 9 to New Jersey, but they ended up trading their pick, and he dropped a pretty far away for such a good forward. It seems like a really good pick on their part. He's a center left wing from Medicine Hat. He got a lot of points this year. He had even more points the year before, which is kind of weird, but it's probably a good sign. He can put the puck in the net, and he's a good player. He's not a defensive liability or anything. I think that was a really good pick on their part. Number 25, Montreal Canadiens took Michael McCarron from US. He's a big right winger. They added exactly what they needed for their team, which was big size up front. They just signed Daniel Briere, which I don't. He's French, so he'll fit in there, I guess. But it seems like they need size up front. I don't know if that was a great signing, but anyway, this is about the draft. I think it was a good pick because they needed size up front, like I said. It was the right player or the right choice draft. Number 26 was the Anaheim Ducks. They took another offensive defenseman, Shea Theodore from Seattle in the WHL. All these offensive defensemen seem to be going higher than they were ranked, so there must be something good about them. He was in probably top 3 or 5 offensive defensemen in the draft. He's a good overall player. He's good to get in your NHL BGMs if you can get a hold of him. I just think it was a good pick on their part. Anaheim needs some defense right now, and he'll be a good offensive defenseman in the future. Him and Cam Fowler on the power play will be nice. The Blue Jackets had another pick in the first round, and they took a center from Russia, Marko Dano, a guy I do not know a lot about. Can't really comment on this pick. I don't know a lot about him, but hopefully it's a good pick for them. They seem like they're turning their team around pretty well in Columbus. They'll be a good team in the future. Number 28, the Calgary Flames had another pick, and they took a goal-scoring winger from the WHL, Morgan Klimchuk. He had a good amount of goals this year. He added another scoring threat up front for Calgary, so they're looking good for the future. All these picks they have in the first round this year, with Barchi coming up from wherever he's playing now. He should be in the NHL soon. I think it was a good pick at the later point in the first round. It was around where he was ranked, so it seemed like an overall solid pick. Number 29, the Dallas Stars, which they got from Boston for Yager, took Jason Dickinson, a center from Guelph. Another good player. He'll be a nice depth player on your team, probably second or third line center if he turns out well. He'll just be one of those guys that's good for your team. He'll kill penalties. Might get on the power play the odd time. Seemed like a solid pick at that point. Probably just be a good forward that's never going to be a standout player, but he'll just be good to have on your team all the time. Number 30, last pick of the first round, was the Chicago Blackhawks. They took Ryan Hartman from Plymouth in the OHL. This guy's he's said to be the best agitator in the draft, kind of like who Chicago has already on their team. What's his name now? Shaw. Shaw and Brad Marchand, those types of guys. This is who he's like. And he's a first-round pick, so he obviously has some skill. He's like a better version of Sean Avery, kind of what Brad Marchand is. But yeah, he seemed like a good player. He can get under your skin. He can score goals. He seems like a good guy that helps your team win. And I think a good pick at that point. So that's basically sums up the draft. I'm only doing the first round because that's what most people care about. I'll add on, I guess, some surprises I thought. Zach Fucale would go in the first round for sure. He dropped to the second round. Adam Ernie was another guy I thought could possibly go in the first round. He dropped. Robert Hagg was supposed to go in the first round. He dropped all the way to 41. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else kind of went the way people thought it would. It was a good draft to watch. There's some good trades and a lot of like superstars in the draft that you know are going to be great later on in their careers. And I hope you guys like the analysis. It's probably not the best out there. I'm just doing this on the spot. I didn't research it or anything. Just it's kind of my opinion. If you liked it, let me know. Let me know what you didn't like about it, what you did, and leave a like if you did like it. And we'll probably do more stuff like this in the future. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.